NFL draft nerds, welcome back into Rogue Football, where it is all NFL draft all the time. We have begun summer scouting, taking a look at a lot of wide receivers right now. I'm getting some work in on a lot of different prospects, primarily guys that are viewed from the consensus big board standpoint pretty highly. Makai Lemon, receiver out of USC, is a player that really has some buzz in the industry. But when it comes to the consensus big board, which is very early, very preliminary, doesn't even really matter at this point, he is way down the list at receiver. I do not think he should be able to tell you that right now. Watched Makai Lemon. He's 5'11", 195 pounds. Pretty good size overall. I think he was listed at 190 last year. I think that he's added some weight heading into 2025 here. I think one thing about his frame, even though he's only 5'11", I think he has good length. I think he has really good length, obviously very good body control to catch the ball away from his frame. We're going to get into all the good stuff, all the summer scouting takeaways I have from him here. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Again, it's all NFL draft all the time here at Rogue Football. So he just turned 21 years old in June. Happy belated birthday. Obviously a very young prospect, was an elite 4-star in 2023. I say an elite 4-star because he was the number 9 wide receiver in that class, but a top 50 overall recruit. He was a very highly recruited prospect in 2023. Again, only 21 years old, just turned 21. So entering his rookie year in the NFL, if he does declare for the draft in 2026, he will be a 22-year-old rookie, won't turn 23 until the summer of his sophomore campaign in the NFL. So young guy. Absolutely a young guy. Everything that we've seen on tape from him so far has been as a 20-year-old or younger. Didn't do a whole lot during his freshman year. Looking at what he did in 2024 as a sophomore, aligned almost exclusively from the slot at USC last year. 85% slot usage for Makai Lemon. Just didn't see him on the outside very much. Do I think that means he can't win outside? No, I don't. And we're going to get into why I believe that here. He has incredible hands. He was super consistent when it comes to hauling in both contested targets and not having any focus drops. And maybe it's not a contested target, but a target that's not clean, a target where there's a muddy picture or there's a guy in close proximity or where you're about to get hit. Only had one drop in 67 targets in 2024, and he was fairly consistent in contested catch situations, although he didn't have a ton of them. I think he's not going to have a ton of them throughout his career because he's a separator. He's a guy that's going to win more as a separator than a tight window ball winner. I have no question about that in my mind, but it's good to see him be able to work through contact, to catch in contested situations for sure, to have a more complete game. But I mentioned only 67 targets last year. Now, for a true sophomore, that's not like a bad number by any stretch of the imagination. 67 targets, 52 catches, 764 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That production does not align with where I have him in my rankings right now. I'll go ahead and tell you. He is my second ranked wide receiver behind Jordan Tyson, who we've already talked about here on the channel. When I initially did my receiver rankings for summer scouting, which was only like 5 or 6 guys, I hadn't watched Makai Lemon yet, but I have Makai Lemon right behind Jordan Tyson, and there's really no need to assign round grades right now. We have a full season to watch before we get into that and the entire scouting process, all that stuff. The combine, Senior Bowl, which Lemon obviously probably wouldn't be at, but there's a long way to go and a lot to get through before you really have to solidify a round grade on a player. But if I had to make picks right now, Jordan Tyson would be the only receiver I would select in front of Makai Lemon, and I wouldn't feel great about doing it, even though I do love Jordan Tyson. Makai Lemon, I think, has the potential to be a really special NFL wide receiver and NFL draft prospect. In terms of the way you see him winning, a variety of different screen concepts. USC was really good at getting him involved in that regard. There's a lot of NFL coaches. There's one right here in Jacksonville. I could see absolutely loving the way he can manipulate defenders, follow blocks, but also have creativity with the ball in his hands. He wins on two-way goes. He can freeze you and explode in the other direction, and that's just so dangerous and so scary for nickel defenders. Wins on digs. He's really good in that regard. He can hit you with double moves. He's shown a variety of different double moves, vertical routes, stop routes, shallow and deep crossers, comebacks. I think that I've heard some talk like he doesn't have the most diverse route tree, and there's not a lot of like outbreaking routes or things of that nature, but I've seen more than enough snappiness, explosiveness, fluidity, quickness, and body control, and that change of direction with and without the ball. I think he's going to be an excellent route runner. I think he's going to create a ton of separation at the next level. Can it get more refined? Yes. Can he get just more experience working against press to prove that he can play outside? Potentially. We'll see what happens this year at USC if he gets more outside or not. I mean, they don't need to move him outside. He's incredibly dangerous from the slot and can be a dominant slot player, right? One of the things I love about him, though, as a route runner, against man coverage, just good luck keeping up with him. But against zone coverages, his spatial awareness, one of the most important parts of his evaluation, in my opinion. He is so good at sitting down in the right spot in the zone and finding the right spot at the right time and giving the quarterback a window to throw through a variety of different zone coverages that he has faced. That's special, in my opinion. And that's something that's going to really help him at the next level and help his quarterback at the next level, because you're primarily seeing zone defense in the NFL. Yes, in third down situations, you see more man coverage, which he'll have no problem eviscerating slot defenders. But to me, that spatial awareness against zone is really something to behold. And the body control and flexibility, I think, are both rare. Those help him as a route runner. Those also help him get to that perfect spot against zone coverages. They help him to contort and get the football in tight windows. Helps him as a yak player. I mentioned he's really good on screens. His yak game is really impressive. Really, really good vision. I said he follows his blocks, but he's so creative with the ball in his hands as a runner. And no surprise, he's a very good kick returner as well. Very explosive kick returner. So that does add value to his prospect, right? At the next level. You've got a guy who not only can you draft early on in the draft to be a dynamic potential offensive engine, but also somebody who can kind of flip the script of a game with his special teams ability. I think overall the athleticism feels very special. He can destroy angles. He can leap, go get the football. He can juke you out of your jock. So sudden of a mover and has such fluidity and explosiveness. He can run past most guys like deep down the field. I love the instant acceleration both off the line and as a route runner and with the ball. As soon as he makes a move, it's off to the races in the other direction. I think he really that shows that explosiveness and that instant acceleration in pretty much every phase of the game. Like I said, I don't think he needs to be limited to the slot. I think he can align on the line of scrimmage. I think he can be your flanker. I think he can line up in the slot. I think he could line up in the backfield. And you can get the ball in his hands so many different ways. Now, again, was only 20 years old. I would like to see him add a little bit of strength. I would like to see USC get him in some situations where he is outside more often and lining up against press coverage to see where we can kind of evaluate that part of his game. Maybe add a little bit of strength to the frame. But right now, I would take him very high in this draft, 2026 NFL draft. I think he's going to be a first rounder. Currently my wide receiver 2, behind only Jordan Tyson. And when you compare those two, Lemon works a lot more heavily from the slot at this point. He's not as big and physical as Jordan Tyson. I don't think he's quite the kind of Jordan Tyson's not a monster by any stretch of the imagination. He's not like a 6'4", 220-pound receiver, but he's got more of the prototypical build for a modern outside receiver who can move all around the formation. He's just got a little bit more strength and muscle mass on his frame. He's got a little bit more height. But I did mention, I think Makai Lemon has good length for his size, which kind of makes up for the lack of true height at only 5'11". I think that Tyson does project more as a prototypical X receiver than Lemon does at the next level. I think Lemon is more of the guy who you want to move around, create mismatches, feed him the ball in a variety of different ways, whereas Tyson, I think, can be a legitimate X receiver where you just line him up out there and you don't have to get too creative getting him the football, right? Love both of these prospects, though. I absolutely do. And they're very closely ranked right now for me. But I just give Jordan Tyson the slight edge because more of a prototypical X. But I'll tell you, Makai Lemon, he's got more consistent hands right now based on what we've seen so far. Again, I think he's a clear first rounder. You don't have to assign round grades right now. You don't have to get into that. But if I had to pick a player right now to help my football team at wide receiver, Makai Lemon would be number 2 on the list. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe, and y'all have a good one.